Good morning. Today we're ending our segment on women in baseball in a very special way. And we also plan to analyze the musical chairs that's going on around the Yankee Diamond. Join us for the upper deck for Pinstripe Chronicles.
Cue the music.
Welcome. Happy sunny Sunday. At least it's sunny where I am. I hope it's the same for you.
Morning, everyone. What's going on, Chris? Where do we want to jump? We got a lot to jump around on.
We want to jump with, I was very amazed today to find out that Talkin' Yanks have landed Aaron Boone as a weekly guest on their podcast. What an amazing story the whole John Boy Media thing is, first of all.
It really is a fan's fantasy.
It is.
And what has gone on, I mean, it's amazing what Jimmy and Jake have accomplished, and there's no knowing where else they're going to head.
Exactly.
Boone.
I mean, I would have never seen this coming, but it was interesting. Go listen to it. We could talk about a few points as we go along today of things I picked up from him. Right from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Yeah. I think I want to hear about it. I'm sure everyone else does too. And hey, Laurie. Hey, FJ.
Hey. Good to see you. I think the most important thing is he didn't announce who's going to be the shortstop for the Yankees this year. And of course, we John Boy and Jake asked him, but he didn't answer. He said we have to wait maybe till Monday. We'll find out. But in the meantime, the speculation is running high.
That's right. And related to that, I read something about today and the split teams. And interestingly to me, Volpe is staying behind.
Oh.
With Cole, and we know Cole's starting. And excuse the hiccups. I swear I was not at a pre-noon happy hour or starting Sunday brunch early. So I thought that was interesting, Chris, that that Volpe, that it's essentially, I'm assuming, Peraza out on the road, Volpe behind. Yeah. I wonder if that's a tell for Thursday.
Yeah. I wonder if it is too. Yesterday, Volpe was a madman. He almost hit for the cycle.
Hey, Uncle Tats.
He went 3 for 4 with a single, a double, and a triple. And then, he came out, so he didn't have the opportunity to hit the home run. But wow, this kid is on fire.
He's totally on fire. And at the same time, it has to be making Peraza nervous. Because Peraza has not been on fire.
Right.
And certainly has not put up the numbers that one would have anticipated at the start of camp.
Right.
And so I think the question is more about, will they take both, break camp with both of them, or if one's going down, who it will be, but all signs pointing to perhaps Volpe over Peraza, where a week or two ago, at least I was still solidly in the camp of, look, no, we're not going to see him until later in the season.
Right.
And he'll be up for good. And this Boone holding his cards could be a number of things. Could be just Boone doing Boone things, or it could be anything from, Volpe is going to be behind at Steinbrenner Field today. Is there going to be a little surprise videotaped call to the office for Volpe, where he's told he's on the roster opening day? And that's I think a little bubble in the head fantasy for some of us, but
right.
So and who else has been Volpe, not Volpe like, but
Right.
Donaldson all of a sudden is like a phoenix rising from the ashes. It just depends on how temporary that is. But the meter's swinging a little bit in Donaldson's favor on Twitter. That wow,
Right.
another must big home run the day before yesterday, and or was it yesterday? I don't know. They all
Yeah.
blend at my age,
Yeah.
but
No, I think he did knock one out yesterday.
yeah,
If I remember correctly.
yeah,
Yeah, but the Donaldson resurgence bandwagoners are out on Twitter. And it's fun because Donaldson has become one of those sort of lightning rod figures where, the the team is doing well if Donaldson is doing well. If he's hitting and playing defense, then that's definitely a benefit to the team. If he's not, then it's definitely a detriment, and the Yankees probably are losing. So either Donaldson needs to be, sent to the moon, or he needs to do what he did, which is change his stance and become more of an offensive threat.
right. And the change in stance is what's being uh, explained as perhaps the reason that we're seeing these home runs all of a sudden.
Right.
But again, like everything else we've been talking about, it's a small sample size, and certainly doesn't match up to our experience with him. So in my book, he's still the bringer of pain.
Yeah.
And Uncle Tat's got the jokes today.
Well, wait a minute. I thought, I've got another person I'd like to say might be the MVP. What about Stanton? I would like to talk a little bit about what Stanton brings, what we're expecting from him this season. Apparently, his role is going to change a little bit as well.
Yeah, and I know, Chris, you've said often how frustrating it is that he's not like what do they know that we don't know, that he's like bubble wrapped, and put away in the china closet for when the good company comes and you put out the good plates, right? And so if we know statistically that he does better when he plays more, and he's saying it himself,
Yeah.
what is the friggin' deal? And so and if they're thinking through all of these, and he opens up the show by describing it, these musical chairs, and wherever the music stops and you sit, okay, you sat in right field, that's where you are today. um so I don't know, but there's some buzz. I think, Chris, you were talking to me about they think Stanton's going to have a breakout year.
I
So I
think
don't know,
so.
like how the Yankees made a contract with Nostradamus, but they're making all these like bold predictions with literally no data to back it up.
Right. Well, Stanton is apparently going to play the field a couple of days a week, which it will make for an interesting outfield because, again, the outfield, left field is a place, one of the places that is yet to be nailed down for the Yankees. Cabrera's in the running, Willie
Right.
Calhoun, Stanton,
Yep.
obviously. I think they like Stanton in right field because left field is so cavernous. Um,
Right.
so I don't know what the configuration will turn out to be if Stanton's in the outfield, but it'll be a much better outfield with him in it.
Right. And there's a great discussion going on in the chat that I just want to summarize here. But let me start by saying that I love I love Stanton.
Yeah.
This is one of the few points where Chris and I don't align. Um, and that's good, but I've always admired him from when he came up. And in the chat, Lori's saying that he could jog around the bases 45 times when he homers, and how slow he is, and it's true. He's not a speed guy. He's not the guy, and that I think that's why they rely on him for the power, because he's not the guy you want playing small ball, because he's not going to steal anything.
No.
And so that's for sure. And Uncle Tats has been said that he's been a great Yankee, and I have to agree with that, because let's not forget he was the MVP of the All-Star games last year, and he still has it in him. I think 2018 Stanton, was going on 5 years ago, but that's not so far off when we've still seen it, although sporadically, which pisses us off, since he came on board. And and Lori is saying that she just wishes that he would stay at DH. And while I think that's a worthy opinion, again, because of this musical chairs game of checkers that seems to be going on, and the game being treated like this jigsaw puzzle, I don't know if that'll be the case, because it'll become necessary for other platoon players that are relied on for the hits to also be DH. So and Spencer wants to point out that 30, 40 home runs a season is what he could essentially be guaranteed for him. So but we have the sample size that says when he plays, he's better.
He needs to play. And the only complaint that I have with Stanton is that he doesn't play. And if he's, as I have said before, if he's injured, he shouldn't be out there. And if he's not injured, why is he bubble wrapped? I don't get that. Put him out there in the field. If you're not comfortable playing him in left, fine, put him in right. Judge doesn't seem to mind left, right, center. He's got the arm. In fact, yesterday, I believe it was yesterday's game, Judge threw out somebody from left field during the game. And that's just Judge. Wherever he is, he's going to have that strong arm.
Yep. Well, that's why he's the captain, and Cooperstown bound. So
and what about when we're speaking of the outfield shuffle? What about Cabrera's chances of being on the 26 man, perhaps being on the opening day field?
I think that all signs point to him being on the 26 man and being on the opening day roster.
Yeah, I have his numbers here, but give me a second to find them while you talk.
The while you're doing that, the hanging question that I'm tired of bringing up is, is Hicks going to win the gig? Now, if we follow the logic, that's scary for me to say, of Boone and Cashman, they're going to be looking at the numbers and has Hicks really been over Cabrera in performance? And that's interesting. Elliott's throwing down one of his 10,000 baseball caps and saying he doesn't like Cabrera in the outfield. How dare you? Look, the thing about Cabrera is that he's a utility guy. He's going to be that super utility guy who's being used and platoons where needed. Be interested to know why anyone would think that they don't like him in the outfield. I'm presuming by default that he's preferred in the infield, but we already have such a logjam there. And and we have more than spring training to tell us that Cabrera adjusted very well towards the end of last season in left field when he was needed. So I just think that I that just I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Cabrera has nothing else to prove either, as far as that goes.
yep, yep. And Michael's chiming in about Judge Chris, and he's saying that Judge should be left in right field. Why mess with a good thing? And what I would say is that I don't think I'd mess with a good thing, but the mentality we've been seeing so far during camp is that they're heading right towards not one size fits all business. you know
You're
and,
right.
and we'll no longer be able to say that's our first baseman,
Yep.
even with Rizzo being Rizzo, and that's our
Yeah.
right fielder. It's really going to depend on the team that we're facing and on the team that we are at the moment. And
Then you hit the nail right on the head, because that Boone said today on Talking Yanks that flexibility is probably the most important thing the players can have that are being considered for the different positions that are still open to be grabbed. So the flexibility of every player to be right, judged to play all the outfield positions, he's certainly, that is right in line with the way the Yankees want to run the team.
that's right. That's right. And and Elliot saying okay, just okay with Stanton, that's his position. But our point is, like we were just saying, we can't think that way anymore. I mean, we can, in the sense that that's what we're used to and what we believe is correct, but it's not what we're going to get if spring
No.
training is any sign. And we
Yes.
know how unpredictable things are, but all signs point to just giving everyone experience everywhere. Throw that spaghetti on the wall, see how well it sticks,
Yeah.
and use it based on that.
Yeah. And it's an interesting concept. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the course of the season. Whether or not I suppose you could say there's almost two sides of that coin. Whether or not it's important for someone to have the reps at their position over and over and over again for that, and like being our left fielder or being our right fielder, where as opposed to moving around and not having consistency at any one position.
That's right. And and all of our friends are saying what they're feeling, and it is about you know really not liking this idea of not knowing who to expect in certain positions. And Michael, I certainly can't name another superstar player who moved around to different positions like they're planning to do with Judge. They haven't done it yet.
Right.
They did it here and there last season at center. They haven't done it yet. But this is and maybe it won't play out this way, and everyone in the chat will be happy, and so will I. But then I'm trying to think of the glass half full here. It'll certainly change things up for us, and not and we'll see a different game, not just literally but figuratively, all the time because of
Right.
it. Which I'm trying to think of a positive. I failed, but but I that seems to be where we're heading. And if they're showing up in camp, if they're finding in camp that guys are more capable of it than one would think, then then it's a strategy, and a strategy no one else is using. To Michael's point.
Absolutely. And
So
Spencer, off on another tangent here a little bit, what are your rituals, if any, for opening day? And for me, I'm starting a new ritual this year, which is I'll be taking the day off, and actually Friday too, because I forgot that they weren't playing on Friday, but I'll just have Friday for fun. But definitely take off the Friday or the opening day. Be ready with my score sheet and score the game. That's my funnest thing to do.
And for me, my boss has known for years that opening day is a national holiday in my house. And so, and in my mind, I think that the mailman shouldn't be showing up, because if I'm not at the stadium, I'm at the biggest TV available to me. And my other ritual is there are certain snacks and beverages that must be present. It's part of the good luck thing, a little bit superstitious. And pinstripes on opening day. It's like the Sunday best. Um,
Yep.
So my favorite hat and my jersey on opening day.
Yep.
And nobody should be ringing my phone.
Don't.
I don't care
I know
who you are. And so just about everyone knows that, unless it's an emergency, obviously. So
I'll be sporting Judge on my back on opening day. I'll have on the pinstripes. There's no question about that. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe Judge hits the first Yankee home run of the year. And I say that because he hasn't hit a lot of home runs in spring training. Has he hit any? So he's due. He's like going to bust out.
Yeah, he's definitely going to show us. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely gonna bring the fire, and from day one, wouldn't that be, after ending the season the way he did?
Yep.
I think it's another thing that he knows is expected of him. So yeah. I think it's gonna I see that being a very high probability. Uncle Tats is being a smart, you know what?
Right.
That he's gonna text me all day. Look, I'll text you during our live broadcast so you can't keep track of your thoughts, Uncle Tats. Gonna play with me?
Yes, speaking of that,
of course.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, Lynn.
I was just going to share that Spencer's ritual, of course, includes an excuse to buy a new field cap.
Yay!
As if he needs an excuse to buy a new cap. So looking forward to those pictures of that, Elliot.
Oh, absolutely. Bring it on.
And Lori's saying that she paces a lot. I feel you, Lori. She has her gear ready. And yeah, it's like Christmas morning.
It definitely
really is. It really is. And let's just hope that Santa brings us what we want.
Oh yeah. Bring us a win on opening day. That's not too much to ask.
Absolutely.
We want to talk about the women of Yankees Twitter, and go. I'll let Lynn wrap it up. She's been preparing this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so today's our last segment. For those of you that follow the show, you know that Women's History Month is March, and every week we've been shouting out some spectacular women in baseball. And before we jump to today's special segment, I want to do a follow-up on last week's Woman of Baseball. You may recall we talked about Olivia Picardo from Brown University, who made history as the first female baseball player in college sports with her first at-bat. And the most exciting update, just in time for this last day of our series, came. The National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum announced that Olivia Picardo made history Friday by becoming the first woman to appear in Division I baseball when she pinch hit for Brown University. The helmet she wore during her historic plate appearance will become a part of the museum's collection in Cooperstown. I just got chills. And I've read this 3,000 times.
Yep.
She has just begun, and here she is in Cooperstown. And so good, I know that I have things to say when it comes to like Hall of Fame nominations every year about Cooperstown and the way they go about things. But this, man, I want to send them, a box of chocolates and
Yeah.
um, so that's just amazing. I give so much credit to the Cooperstown committee for doing that.
And Olivia's just the beginning. She's just the trickle that's going to bust open the walls of baseball one of these days for women in this country. And so the hall has now been in. There's probably other women in there, but now we've got Olivia in there, and it's just so incredible.
It really is, and I think the chills are subsiding a little bit. So I want to wrap up this series by honoring the women of Yankees Twitter who stand up and rise above as voices in the conversation on Twitter with their knowledge and passion and commitment to the Yankees and their knowledge of the game and the history of it and the ins and outs of it. Chris and I are here and developed this podcast for it to be by women. And to our knowledge, we're still the only female only co-hosted Yankees podcast because we wanted to represent not just the fans as a whole, but women, because women do know things. And we've seen so many good examples of that on Twitter with the people that we follow. And so this week we put a call out for, some women of Yankees Twitter that deserve a nod today. And so I'm happy to present to you the women that were brought forward to us and, would like to share a few words about them. So, Yankees Ghost was shouted out to us because her depth and breadth of knowledge of baseball and of the Yankees baseball world. In his opinion, this nominee said, outshadows some major league reporters, in his opinion. And so again, a highlight of true knowledge um, and voice among the Yankees Twitter universe. Sheila Marie was nominated because she is essentially the queen of the stadium when she's there, and she makes everyone feel like they're her best friend and very important. And so the enthusiasm that she brings to Twitter keeps conversations going, and she adds to those conversations as well with her knowledge and being at those games also informs a lot of what she brings to Twitter. And then next we have Emily Nyman. Emily Nyman is the co-host at Breaking Balls podcast, and Emily is known for knowledge and fire. She's smart. She's on target. She brings the snark.
Yes, she does.
Even when it's not appropriate. And we love her for that. And Tats joined us. So Tats, do you want to jump in and say something here?
Yeah, because Lori pointed out that you two were not on this list. And I just wanted to jump on and thank you for all that you do for women in sports, women in podcasting, and for the women of Yankees Twitter. You two have been phenomenal, and you guys really deserve a nod.
Thank you. Thank you, Tats.
I appreciate that.
That means a lot, especially coming from you.
Yeah.
And now I hope I can continue. Because I'm still a girl and I still cry. So
there's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball. And then there's Kristen, and The notes about Kristen, again, just talked about how vocal she is on Yankees Twitter, and the knowledge and the presence to engage with her fellow fans makes her stand out. And so next is Deb Seymour. Deb Seymour is a respected voice on Yankees Twitter. She is a writer and editor for Ball 9, which everyone on this chat and that listens thereafter at Ball 9 tweet. If you don't subscribe to them, if you don't subscribe to Breaking Balls with Emily Nyman, you have to do it. But Deb backs up everything she says with fact and with reason. So she's the voice of reason and really sort of an authority when it comes to the sports in general. Hockey and football also come to mind, but certainly Chris and I have relied on her. And so she is definitely being shouted out. And then last but certainly not least is Bessie. Bessie is another regular fan, do or die, all her life, and she does a great job of balancing out feelings and facts when it comes to the game. And she knows her mind, and she's not shy to use it. And she will put you down in your place and tell it like it is. And so, she's a fierce female, also contributing to the Yankees Twitter experience. And so, it's just really an honor for Chris and me to have been able to bring this out to Pinstripe Chronicles listeners, and hopefully with more word out on the street, there won't be such a surprise at the fact that women are not only involved and looking cute in their caps and attire, but that, hey, we could talk right there with anybody and sometimes put people in their place, maybe a little bit more than sometimes in some cases. So there we have it for the women of Yankees Twitter. Hats off to you. I take mine off, but I'm going to be a female and say I'm not showing you my hair under this guy. But hats off to you. And that brings us to the trivia question of the week. We have two again. We're getting spoiled. So I'm leading off with Spencer's question of the week. And Spencer, apologies, I do not have available. Spencer always has a wonderful story to tell before the question. And so hopefully Spencer, when he tweets out later in the week the answer, I hope that, Spencer, you'll share that story when you do that, please. So his question is, in 2023, the New York Yankees will have had just 3 managers over the last 25 years. In 1982, they had 3 managers in one season. Who were the 3 managers of the 1982 Yankees? Yes, I remember it well.
That's an excellent question.
Yeah. And then at Trivia 7, who was the last Yankee Rookie of the Year before Derek Jeter?
All right. I don't know the answer to that, but I will be finding out.
Yep, and there you have it.
All right. What an amazing combination of questions we've got going there. Hey, we want to let you guys know, and Tat, did you want to talk about Thursday, or do you want?
Yeah, I just wanted to, before I jump off and let you guys sign out, just this week is going to be the start of the season, and Pinstripe Chronicles, the Upper Deck, we are going to be busy. We will be having a lot of shows this week. We'll be getting back into our regular weekly swing, but we will be having shows Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, maybe Tuesday. we're not sure yet on that day. But on Wednesday will be an interesting one because at the end of the show, we will be having the infamous LA Yankee King come on for a battle royale for trades, where we will be doing everything we can to convince him that he's wrong.
Oh my God! Now I might have to ask my boss for another day off.
Yeah, he challenged us, and we're going to accept the challenge. And
is that on Friday?
On Wednesday
On Wednesday.
Yep, we'll have a regular show, and then at the end of the show, we'll bring in LI. And I know he is not everybody's favorite, but I've gotten to know him behind the scenes. He's a really, really good guy.
Yeah.
And I think he rivals in being the villain. He really enjoys it. And then Thursday will be all 5 of us in the Chronicle family, and the show will start at 9:30, and it's gonna go until we decide that it's time to go. So if it goes until game time, it goes till game time. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite rituals, some of our predictions of how players will perform throughout the year. So that's going to be really fun on Thursday. And then Friday, we'll be breaking down all the events from opening day, breaking down the game, pregame, fan reactions from social media. So it's going to be a really fun week to get this season going.
All right, thank you.
Now I just wanted to be here even more.
I know.
And hope everybody enjoys their day, and you too as well, ladies. And again, congratulations on being one of the best podcasts that are out there.
Thank you.
Under the best umbrella of Pinstripe Chronicles, of course.
Of course.
We were about to say thanks to you for bringing us into the fold. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
We've been doing this we've been working together for 5 years now?
About 5
almost.
Yep.
When we started under the old umbrella.
That's right.
You guys stayed with me when we redesigned, reconstructed into a full-blown podcast. So really, my hats off to you as well, because you guys stuck by me when a lot of people were starting to walk away. So I really appreciate that.
We're family, Tats.
Yes, we are.
There's nothing more fun than talking baseball and talking with our friends on this podcast.
Yeah. All right, enjoy your day.
Love, Tats.
All right, Tats.
Okay, so
yes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Find us on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. If TikTok doesn't get banned this week, never mind the problems the kind of worms that opens. But anyway, thanks for coming and joining us for part of your Sunday.
And I know last week some of you asked how to get one of our fancy dancy 2-sided mugs. You could send a message to @Stripe Chronicles or to Chris and me. Our addresses our handles are right up there for you. And like every week, please know that you have a special reserved seat with Chris and me right here on the upper deck. Go Yankees!
Go Yankees!